So I have some really exciting news for everyone. It was announced yesterday that I will be joining the development team for the Southwest Center for HIV and AIDS as their Northern Arizona Initiatives consultant. And let me tell you why this is exciting. We have not had any formal survey ever that has ever counted or did specific outreach to the LGBTQ community in Northern Arizona to make us count. So I really want to share with you today why this is really important and share a little bit about my story and what this means for Northern Arizona, rural communities across the Southwest, and what we can do together. So let's get started. So this is Shirley, my 1972 Cardinal travel trailer. She's 12 feet long. She's really cute, right? Has her original hubcaps. And this is the inside of it. Really small little kitchen. The refrigerator doesn't work. You know, one thing that's pulled out into a bed. It's kind of hard to see. But she's cute. And this is a closet, not a bathroom. So, no bathroom. My daughter and I, when we first moved to Prescott, Arizona, hold on, turning it around. My daughter and I, when we first moved to Prescott, Arizona, lived in this trailer for about a year. We were officially homeless. I was stealth. I was not out as a transgender person. It was really unsafe here, I felt like. Really small, conservative, and I didn't feel like people would understand. And so I was really scared raising a daughter all by myself and trying to get her into school and all sorts of things. So it was really scary. And when I sought out and looked for LGBT communities, I couldn't find any. I couldn't find any support. And when I went to organizations seeking support, they said, well, there are no LGBT people in rural communities. My passion, and I'll start with this from the beginning, my passion is LGBT communities in rural communities, because those are the communities that have lacked the most and had not been counted. It started back in 2007, around 2007, when I was just a student up at Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff, Arizona. And I was running a student organization that, provided activities for the LGBT community. And I had two lesbians that came to me and said that they were receiving death threats on their door of their dorm room. And they were being stalked, and they were really scared. And we said, well, something's got to be done. So we went and filed a report with the Affirmative Action Office, and they said, well, you can't necessarily file a complaint because there are no policies that include you. And so no crime has been committed. It would just be considered a little bit of harassment. So there's nothing that we can do. We went to the police. They said the same thing, nothing that they can do, campus and city police. And so we said, well, how can we change that policy? How can we make it to where there is a policy? And they said, well, you got to be able to know that you're here. We haven't had any complaints from LGBT people. We said, well, if you can't file a complaint, then you don't know if you have had complaints. And they said, so basically it's a catch-22. To be able to have a policy, you have to have enough people that would be protected to warrant the policy change. But without being counted and without being able to file an official complaint, you can't be counted. So I said, what do we do? They said, well, we need to know how many LGBT people are really on this campus. So we collected names and signatures and got everybody that we could, collected over 1,000 signatures and submitted to the university with policy recommendations. And it took about 6 years, but they changed those policies. Meanwhile, to gain community knowledge and awareness of what's going on, we held a forum that we had over 150 people attend this forum, and we were able to do some incredible things because we were able to show up and show that we were there and count ourselves. And later, this led to the university contacting me to create a resource and support office for their LGBT students. They said, well, we need to know how many students are here. So we put a call to action, and over 200 LGBT community members and students showed up in support of creating an office on campus. It was the first office, LGBT anything that was formal, besides like Pride and activities and stuff that were all like nonprofit volunteer. But this was the first official institutional structure that said, all right, we're going to protect and serve LGBT. That leads me to here. So when I got to Prescott, there was not a whole lot. And it took first counting us. It took first showing up and showing that we matter and that we exist. It showed counting, and that comes in the form of formal surveys. And, you know, LGBT folks are one, scared to say, hey, I'm afraid to check that box, and the last person who counted me was Hitler. And I can understand that fear, okay? I can understand that fear of being visible even on a form. But at this point, it doesn't matter how you identify. Let's not get hung up on the labels. It matters that you are able to check a box, and that box is provided for you, because what that says is you can identify any way you want out there, but for the sake of this form and the sake of counting you, we need to be able to count you to show that you're there. So if you're transgender, somewhere under that umbrella, a lesbian, or somewhere under that umbrella, maybe the words don't necessarily fit, but at least demonstrate that you're there by checking a box. So for the next 3 months, I will be reaching out to all of northern Arizona and traveling around to all the remote parts to capture any LGBT populations that I can capture through this survey. It's called the ShoutOUT Arizona Survey. You can find it on ShoutOUT or ShoutOUT Arizona, or ShoutOUTAZ.org. Go on there, click it, take the time to take the survey. You get a $15 gift certificate to Target just for participating, and we will be able to count you for the first time in history, so that we can do all kinds of exciting things like bring resources, support, housing, services, and acceptance to LGBT communities across northern Arizona in the most rural spaces, and ultimately all around Arizona and the Southwest region. So I appreciate you joining me on this journey, and I'm looking really forward to connecting with everyone. So remember that website, get to it, share it, shoutoutaz.org, and take that survey today. Thank you.